Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Dear students, how are you? I think all you are fine by the grace of Almighty Allah the Most High, and I pray to Allah the Most High so that Allah bless upon all of you in this during this critical hour, during this fatal disease corona, and I ask to all of you, please pray for me also, pray for the Muslim Ummah, pray for the all human being of the world to save from this fatal disease corona, and please ask Allah's help more and more and proper utilize your time because time is flying on. Dear students, today we will discuss about some specific topics of Islamic studies of your textbook, and today's topic is three important lessons of your textbook from chapter 4. I'll try to discuss these are Akhlaq Zamima of your textbook of chapter 4, lesson 16, 17, 18. And dear students, lesson 16 includes Akhlaq Zamima, the identity of Akhlaq Zamima. We are going to start our discussion. Dear students, first of all, Akhlaq Zamima. Akhlaq Zamima, I have made some points for you from this topic, Akhlaq Zamima. If you see, this is Akhlaq Zamima. It is lesson 16 of your textbook, and from this lesson 16 we will try to know the answer on the basis of these three questions especially. The first question, what is Akhlaq Zamima? Dear students, in our classes we learned about akhlaq, and we learned that akhlaq are of two types, akhlaq hamida and akhlaq zamima. Today we will discuss about akhlaq zamima. First of all, akhlaq means nature, character, behavior, conduct, our any types of activities are called akhlaq, and zamima means evil or the bad or nasty or indecent. So akhlaq zamima meaning will be indecent character or bad character or evil character of a man. That means in the Islamic terminology, according to our textbook even, we can say that those types of akhlaq or nature or behavior of a man will be included as akhlaq zamima that are rejectable and abominable or avoidable or detestable or indecent. That means all types of bad character or evil character of human being are called akhlaq zamima. Now this akhlaq zamima has another name. The another name of akhlaq zamima is akhlaq sayyah. You may mark this another name of akhlaq hamida from your textbook because it is a question for your knowledge base answer. The another name of akhlaq zamima is akhlaq sayyah. Now explain the demerits of akhlaq zamima. That means what are the bad effects or the demerits or the evils of this akhlaq zamima. Dear students, already from our common sense we may say that akhlaq zamima as these are the bad character or evil character or bad nature of human being. Definitely Islam will never allow these types of indecent or evil character for a Muslim or for a mu'min. That's why Islam has said many things in Al Quran and Al Hadith not to do, not to commit, not to engage with these various types of akhlaq zamima or various types of bad habits or bad characters of man. For example, we can say that from akhlaq zamima you may note it for as it is the common question for your exam. Sometimes question comes in your exam that what is the demerits of akhlaq zamima, explain for 2 marks for comprehensive question. So you may write, first of all, we may see these akhlaq hamida bring disorder in our society. That means if we commit akhlaq zamima, if anybody perform any types of negative or indecent activities or indecent habits or behavior or akhlaq, it will bring bring disorder in the society. Nobody of the society will accept it positively, and various types of harmful effect will fall in our society for committing this akhlaq zamima. And not only this, not only the human being of the society or the people surrounding ours dislike this akhlaq zamima, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also does not love the person of akhlaq zamima, a bad charactered person or a bad natured person. For example, we may learn a hadith from Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah said in a hadith, in our textbook it is also given, you may see it. Rasulullah said, a wicked and harsh natured person shall not enter into paradise. According to this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we may say that as Allah does not love the people of bad natured person, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam also does not love it. Even our society also destroys only for these types of behaviors or these types of peoples. So we will never commit these types of negative activities, these types of akhlaq zamima or the bad habits in our life, inshallah. Dear students, now we are going to next lesson of our textbook. Please go to the next lesson, lesson 17 of our textbook. It is of fraud. Lesson 17, fraud. Dear students, it is fraud. Now we will discuss about fraud, because fraud is one of the heinous, one of the most basest akhlaq zamima. It is fraud. First of all, we will learn the meaning of fraud. Fraud means, according to our textbook, fraud means, it is written here, deceive, deprive, cheat, play false. Dear students, most of the time knowledge based question comes like this: what is the meaning of fraud? So then you will write the meaning of fraud: deceive, deprive, cheat, play false, hoodwink, etc. the word meaning of fraud. But sometimes also knowledge based question comes like this: what is fraud or what is called fraud? Then you will write the definition of fraud, please. It is said, according to your textbook, it is said, fraud is seeking self-interest by concealing the real fact through deceit or disguise. That means, what is fraud? Seeking self-interest. For attaining anyone's self-interest or personal desire or personal interest by concealing the real fact. If anybody conceal or hide the real fact of anything through deceit or disguise, through various types of deceitful activities in the guise of good thing, if anybody present the bad thing, if anybody sell or present the bad thing only for achieving or attaining his personal interest or personal profit by concealing the real fact of the commodity, then it will be regarded as fraud. Especially, we know this fraud especially commits in our business sector or of our merchandise sector especially, but in all parts of our life we face various types of fraudulent activities, various types of deceitful activities. Even sometimes we also commit unfortunately these types of fraudful or these types of deceitful activities in our life. So this fraud is considered as lying, even it is equal to lying. And so this fraud may occur in many parts of our life, especially when you apply any unfair means in your exam. It is also one kind of fraud, please mind it. And this fraud is Kabira Guna, it is haram in Islam. And in our business sector, I already said, this fraud occurs more. So dear students, now we are going to discuss about the demerits or bad effects of fraud. Dear students, here I have tried to write down some points on the demerits or the bad effects of fraud. Already we have learned that what is fraud and what is called fraud. So according to Islam, first of all, I will say this fraud is completely haram in Islam. It is a haram act. Dear students, I think as a human, as a Muslim, all you know that a haram thing is never be committed by a mu'min or Muslim, because if anybody commit any haram act in his life, definitely he will commit Kabira Guna, a great sin that will not be forgiven without tawbah, and provision of Jahannam is declared in Al-Quran for committing any types of haram things. So this fraud is one of the haram activity in our life. So we should be careful, we should be sincere, and we should never commit these types of fraudulent activities in our life. Then second point, fraud is more dangerous than lying. It is said that lying is the mother of all evils, but according to a hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this fraud is more even dangerous than committing lie. That means it is said that lying commits only one fault, but fraud commits two fault. Beside lying, through commit a person break the trust of another persons. So that's why fraud is called more dangerous than lying. So as fraud is more dangerous than lying, even we should never commit these types of negative and these types of unlawful activities according to Islam. And the next point, a fraud person is not the real ummah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Dear students, it's a big caution from our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Rasulullah said in a hadith, it is written here at the last part in the topic. Rasulullah said, "Man gasha falaysa minna." That means he who cheats does not belongs to our folk or community. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, the person who will commit fraud, who will cheat, he is not the ummah of mine. That means he is not among us. That means he is not a Muslim or mu'min. So according to this hadith, we can realize the depth of the severity of committing fraud in Islam. Rasulullah said he is not among the Muslims even. So we should be careful about this fraud, and we should never commit these types of harmful activities in our life. Dear students, if we see another point about the demerits of fraud in Al-Quran, Allah the Most High says about fraud. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In Surah Al-Baqarah, Allah said on behalf of this point, it is Allah's order not to do cheat. Allah said in Al-Quran, وَلَا تَلْبِسُوا الْحَقَّ بِالْبَاطِلِ وَتَكْتُمُوا الْحَقَّ وَأَنْتُمْ تَعْلَمُونَ. You do not confound truth with falsehood, and do not conceal the truth knowingly. It is the declaration of Allah the Most High in the Holy Quran. It is Allah's order not to confound truth with falsehood, not to mix falsehood with truth, even not to conceal the real fact, not to conceal the truth knowingly. That means according to this ayat of Allah the Most High, as Allah has given order in Al-Quran not to commit fraud, not to do cheat, not to conceal the truth knowingly, not to mix truth with falsehood, as it is Allah's order, so it is faraj for us to maintain. That means we will never commit fraud, we will never mix falsehood with truth, we will never conceal the truth after knowing that it is the real fact. So and the next point, he who Rasulullah said according to another hadith, a person or the person who will sell any defected goods without informing the buyer, he is the enemy of Allah. That means a fraud person, a person who sells defective goods without informing the defects to the buyer, this person, these types of people are the enemy of Allah according to hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Even Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam says that Allah's angels curse these types of people, those who sells the defective goods without informing it to the buyers. So it is the direction for us from this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We will never sell any defective goods without informing the real fact to the buyer. If we sell anything or any commodity, though we know the real defect of the fact, real lackings or real gaps of the commodity or goods, sometimes we sell it, or we say to the buyer that it is very good and it is completely intact, or it is completely real branded product. Like this sayings we sometimes say only to seek our self-interest according to our definition, that we sell these types of commodities. According to this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, they are the enemy of Allah. Even angels curse them. Dear students, if we see the depth of this hadith, a mu'min never should do these types of activities and these types of fraudulent activities, especially in the business sector. And the next point for you, the demerits or the bad effects of fraud. Perdition awaits in akhirat for the fraudulent person, or for the person who commits fraud. That means, dear students, according to the verse of Al-Quran, many and many previous nations had been destroyed only for committing fraud in their business sector. It is said in Al-Quran, Allah said in Surah Al-Mutaffifin, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, وَيْلُلْ لِلْمُطَفِّفِينَ الَّذِينَ إِذَا اكْتَالُوا عَلَى النَّاسِ يَسْتَوْفُونَ وَإِذَا كَالُوهُمْ أَوْ وَزَنُوهُمْ يُخْسِرُونَ. According to this verse of Al-Quran, Allah said, for them is annihilation who give less in weight when they gives to the man, and when they receive from the human being, they take more. That means these types of peoples, Allah's curse is for them, and in the next life or in akhirat, they will be harassed, and they will face various types of punishments in akhirat, according to this ayat of Al-Quran. And dear students, these are the according to Al-Quran and Sunnah. But in our social perspective, if we see, these fraudulent activities also cause various types of harmful effects in our society also. For example, it is said here, destroys mutual trust. That means our mutual trust, our mutual faith also become destroyed if we commit any fraudulent activities. That means if anybody commit these types of fraud activities with me, in the next time I will not deal with this person, and thus mutual trust, mutual faith also destroyed in the society. Even sometimes foster enmity. That means sometimes in our society various types of enmity, various types of conflicting situation also arise for this fraudulent activities. So this fraud should not commit by any mu'min or Muslim, and always we will try to save ourselves from committing this fraud.